What the heck is going on, guys? We are back with another podcast. So our first one was with Topher, Smurf, and Agent Smith. So I definitely recommend you guys go check that one out. And today we have Clyde and Rue. So I'm very excited. We are going to be talking kind of about the new raids, some of the balances and stuff that are going on in the game, monsters and champions. And then we're going to get into some open discussion and state of the game stuff. So if you guys want to introduce yourself, I really, really appreciate your guys' time today.
So I'm CLYDE the LUNE, and I've been playing Summoners War Chronicles. I think it started first week of December. I have played Sky Arena for 4 to 5 years before quitting. As for the main summoner that I'm playing, I'm using Cliff right now, but I have an alternative account, which is an Orbia main. So yeah.
Nice. And you, Rube?
Hello guys, I'm RUEKUN. I'm a Kina main player. I also play Sky Arena. I have been playing Sky Arena for 7 years, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate you guys. So I'm going to tell the audience, we actually did just discuss for about half an hour, and me and Chetta forgot to hit record. So I extra want to shout out these guys for their time and patience. They are OGs. But the first thing we want to talk about is the new raid. So I know, guys, we already talked about this a bunch, but let's get into it again. So Rue, me and you actually did it together the first day. I think we did it took us like 3 hours before we passed or something like that. We ended up going with double, I had double cleanse, you guys ran a cleanser as well, and then DPS. How do you guys feel as far as how hard it was and the mechanics and things like that?
Yeah, we tested a lot of monsters, Juno, Segment, double healers, Lulu, Annabelle. Well, the new raid's very hard. As I said before, it doesn't allow people to be carried here. Like, for example, in Seal, that they do the cheese thing.
Yeah, where they just run it around.
Power level. Yeah, better runes. And I think that this new raid pushes people to improve themselves.
Yeah, because I know what you're saying with the seal. You can kind of you can die out right away, and if you have 5 other people that are doing it well and properly and doing enough damage, then you can just get carried. Or like you said, they can do the cheese strat, which personally I've never been able to pass, so I don't know how it's easier. But they just kind of cut him around the arena. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on the not being able to be carried as much. Clyde, how do you sort of feel about the new raid and how it's been?
Yeah, so I have run the new raid for last week. So I haven't actually done it this week. So I'm running a single cleanser healer. So my choice is Annabelle. I have run with Deltron and Bag last week. All of us just bring 1 healer, 1 cleanser, so it's viable. So the boss damage is actually proportionate to the amount of the level of the poison that you had. So cleanser is a must. So for the donut rings phase, it's easier to just take in the first ring and just cleanse it right away.
So you guys found that too, eh?
Skill, yeah. So I learned that there are 2 kinds of bursts for the boss, which is based on your current HP. That's why that's what's Cliff's nightmare is, because I think it deals around 90% of your current HP. So as a Cliff that has 60k HP, it immediately brings me down to like 5k to 5 to 10k, something like that, and I will get all these debuffs from the boss skills. And yeah, it's pretty hard, but having a healer or cleanser as your soul link monster really helps in this raid.
Yeah, I think a Lulu or an Annabelle as soul link is an absolute must. And just touching on that Cleef point, so as an Orbia main, I don't really deal with this as much, but one of her skills that she does is she strips all your stuff, right? No, she cleanses her stuff. What Jetta, what is it again? The order?
For the
yeah, just read it again. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. We're going to read it again. But basically, she has a mechanic where she puts all the debuffs back out. And it seems like she puts those debuffs on the person who's closest, which is generally going to be a Keith.
She steals all the beneficial effects and then transfers all the harmful effects.
Yeah. So she'll steal all your shields, everything if you're running them. So it's not really good to run any type of shield, although you can, of course. And then she's going to put all the debuffs on you. But like we said, it's going to go on to the Cleaves. And as Clyde was saying, there is that mechanic where she just takes 90% of your HP and you have to heal it back up. So as a Cleave main, Clyde, do you find it like more difficult to survive? Or do you find that like it's easy, like because you have the mechanics to survive, it's kind of okay?
I think it's better for the team, for the Cliff, to get all the debuffs, because I think tanking is Cliff's job. So it's really your role to keep yourself alive and tank all the mechanics that you can to provide space for Orbia or Kina to do their thing.
Rue, as a Kina main in this raid, how are you finding like your role in it? Like, what weapon do you like to pick? What's your kind of strategy as a Kina main in beating it?
I will say that it's a must to have one Kina on their team, because Kina has cleanse, strip, attack buff. It's very helpful on this raid.
Yeah, the strip is really important if you want to bring like shield. So Rue, I think it was you who was talking about bringing like the shield type comp. How did you run that comp?
Well, we were
Like,
talking about the speed run that I did with Windy, because
Oh yeah.
Windy has crit damage up. So you do more damage, you can kill the boss faster.
Yeah, so Windy is the wind jack-o'-lantern. So yeah, he's for you find as a Kina, he helps you like put your damage up so that you can hit that damage check and things like that, and helps the team.
Yeah, Windy both at crit damage and Kina attack up.
Yeah, so you have the attack up and the crit damage up, so it's just maximizing your damage.
Yeah.
Clyde, you guys said you tried like a Bastet Hella type thing. Do you want to tell us about like your kind of experience with that and how it worked?
Yeah, so we tried the like bursting the boss down with using Halea, Bastet for attack buffs. So what ended up happening was, well, we did finish the raid faster for I think 20 to 30 seconds, but I think I died once during that time because I was soul linking on Halea for the debuffs during the burst phase. So one of the key things when doing the bursting in this new boss is you have to wait for the boss to steal the buffs first, because of course it has a cooldown. She won't be able to spam it, so you would have a window to deal the maximum DPS as you can.
So were you guys going in with like healers and stuff and waiting till that happened and then switching, or you just went in with the like Bastet Hella type team?
I just went in with just Soul Link Helea and just waiting for the heals of Bags or Deltron's healer to just heal me.
Yeah. So I think that'll be an interesting strat, especially in the coming weeks as we all kind of get stronger. I think that you're going to be able to burst her down a lot more, and running something like a block beneficial effect, or like Rue was saying, where you have a Kina who can strip, or Orbia has a strip as well on her light weapon. So that might end up being a strat later in the game for sure. So in talking with the new raid boss, she drops new runes. So she's going to be dropping Vampire and Despair runes. So what are your guys' kind of thoughts on the new runes that they dropped, the Vampire and Despair?
Well, we have like the Despair runes. I don't have any set already, but I think that they will be great for PvP. The Vampire ones, well, the Drain, I don't like that idea. I prefer like another set. Maybe like we were discussing, like Destroy sets for PvP instead.
Yeah, so we for those who played Sky Arena, they had a rune type called Destroy. So this is kind of going into like our next topic as well, the balancing rune stuff. But so right now there's a meta in the game, and CompTOS is trying to counter it on the Korean server. But there's a meta of heal, revive, sustain, bruiser type comps, right? So what they've done on the Korean server, and it seems like our server, even though there's text issues, is in Brawl Arena. It nerfed the healing of the monsters and champions after a certain amount of time. So before, how it worked was everyone's damage got increased after a certain amount of time, and now everyone's healing and max HP is going to be decreased. So this is really trying to put a damper in kind of the healing meta. So Rue had mentioned destroy runes. So destroy runes, the way they work is they take down your max HP. So if you get hit by a champion who has destroy runes, it's going to actually destroy that HP. So you're not going to be able to heal it back up. And it's going to reduce the monster or champion's max HP, which most of them heal based off their max HP. So it's going to reduce their healing. So Rue, I'll let you talk a little bit more about how you think that would affect the game.
Yeah, because, well, as you said, we have a bruiser meta, and it's very hard to kill, for example, Vanessa's, Juno's, and with this destroyer set, it allow us to do PvP easily.
Yeah, and I think especially since they're introducing the vampire runes at the same time that they're trying to reduce the bruiser meta, I find is a little interesting because vampire runes are really going to help the bruiser meta, right? Because if you have someone like, I really want to put my what's his name, Zongfeng, my dark panda, on a vampire set because a lot of his skills, he like does damage and gets the HP back from the damage. So, or even someone like Mi Hong, the fire monkey. So monsters like that who are gonna like suck back the HP, putting them on vampire is just gonna make that even crazier, right? Because they're always gonna have that. I think it's 25% life gain. Is that what it is on the vampire runes?
Yeah, I think so.
25, yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna get 25% of the damage dealt back as HP. So yeah, I think that's kind of just helping the bruiser meta. What do you guys think about that?
Well, to be honest, I don't think that would really be much of a problem soon, because there would be the recovery nerf in the brawl soon that would happen to our server. So the stall camps, like let's just say it, like my previous brawl team is Wusa, Annabelle, and Konomiya or Taeyon. So this won't work anymore. Um, it's just another version of that, but this time there would be they would be into warrior type of monsters. So let's just say it's the wind monkey. But out of the two, for the vampire versus the despair, I think despair would um pretty much dominate the brawl top scene, because this would be the time that people would get legendary runes, and pandas are really rune stat hungry. So once you get that all of your stat is high, and you
Mhm.
get that despair, so something like a wind panda, I think it was his second skill. It was continuous damage per second for 10 seconds. So every second you'll get a chance to stun anyone near you. So I think that's a pretty broken use of despair, if that works. So yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a monster I'm really excited to try on Despair. I can't remember its name, but it's the water monkey, the water monkey king. So he is, I think it's Shung Ho or something. Anyway, he's like all stuns, like that's his whole kit. Like first skill has a chance to stun, his basic attack has a chance to stun, his third skill has a chance to stun. So monsters like that I think are going to be really, really greasy on Despair. And as you said, Despair is probably going to need to be a later game set, which kind of makes sense that it comes from Twisted Marsh, like the highest raid. boss, because I think it's definitely going to be an end game set. Because in order to run Despair, like you were saying, Clyde, you're going to need to have, like, let's say it's an attack based monster. You're going to need to be able to have enough survivability on that attack based monster in order to survive in high level arena. You're also going to need enough crit rate and crit damage for them to do their thing, enough attack. And then you also need, maybe some accuracy, depending on the champion, or speed, or things like that. So you're going to need really high quality runes in order to run Despair, because Despair is giving you that chance to stun. It's not giving you, like, crit damage, like Raid runes, or attack, like Fatal runes, or Swift, or whatever. So I do definitely agree with you on, like, they're going to be, like, super end game. But I also think, with that being said, Despair runes are going to be pretty useless for PvP. What do you guys think?
You mean PvE?
PvE, yeah, PvE.
Yeah, because well, there will be a feature content, the Galagos Ruin. I'm not sure if you can actually stun the enemies there, but I think the spare rune would still be useless there. As for example, as a what do you call this? For example, you're just using your Wind Panda into the Galagos Ruin, so it would be, you would want it to be tanky enough to just tank and let other monster do the bursting, or maybe if you're an Orbia user, you'll do the bursting itself. So yeah.
Yeah, something to keep in mind is that the stun is for 2 seconds, and it only activates if when you use skill 2 and skill 3, not with basic attacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so
yeah,
it's like
make
the
sure-
opposite of Swift. So Swift only works on basic attack, and Despair only works on skills.
Actually, I have a out of topic question for you guys. So in Sky Arena, we call the basic attack S1, the second skill as S2, the third skill as S3, and if there's a passive, we call it passive. However, in here in Chronicles, do you guys use the basic attack as S1, or do you just call it as a basic attack or an auto attack?
Both.
Yes. Yeah.
Both. I know that's a really
Yeah.
bad answer, but that's the truth.
Yeah, it's just a question that suddenly popped up when Rue said it was the
That's-
S3. So
Yeah, it's a good question,
Yeah, I always
actually.
say S2 and S3. I
Yeah.
don't mention S1.
So as a Sky Arena player, same. I have the same problem, but like you guys said, I find a lot of people who didn't play Sky Arena as much, or like even not even that. Like some people are just saying basic attack, because like I think it's called basic attack, right? Isn't that the thing? I think that's what it is. Sorry, Chet is checking quick.
Yeah, just a basic attack.
So it's called basic attack, and like I think that's where the confusion's coming in, because like yeah, like you said, a lot of us used to say skill 1, skill 2, skill 3, but I think because the game like says basic attack and then skill 1, skill 2, that's like why everyone wants to say that, because that's what the game says. But then all our Sky Arena players are like, nah.
Well, Sky Arena, a lot of the monsters did something with their first skill, right? And then in this, they don't.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, that's a good little question there, Clyde, actually. So a couple more things here, though, I do want to talk about in terms of balancing. So, where do you guys feel we are at in terms of character balance? I know Clyde received kind of a nerf. I think Kina got a little bit of a nerf too, right, Rue? Or it was a little bit more of a balance as opposed to a nerf. But and Orbia kind of got a little too much of a buff, in my opinion. But how are you guys feeling on the champions right now in the game?
yeah, so for Cliff, I think his damage has been gutted, but based on my build, I really don't have a damage, so I really don't feel the nerf on it. So I really don't mind about the nerf, but the Orbia buff is really good, but I wouldn't say she's OP, something like that, because it's just the okay, so the maximum amount of power that I have seen in a monster is around 130 power. However, Fixie is already around 200 power on his summoner.
On his summoner,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, so there would be a time that your summoner will do the role that he or she is gonna do exceptional. So if you're a if you're a 200k power cliff, you would be able to tank very well, and at the same time maybe damage high, but not on Orbea's level. However, if you compare it to an Orbea with a 200k power, I think that's the problem. Like, I think she can one shot combo any support, or maybe an even a warrior type of monster with the 200k attack. So I think we're seeing right now is the late game scenarios for these summoners. So yeah.
Yeah, summoners are slowly overtaking our monsters by more and more now.
Yeah, whereas like the first few months that you're playing, you're really relying on your monsters for everything. Whereas like as it gets later, like I've noticed I used to really struggle in like the damage department because I would have to run so many supports to live. Now I like run so many supports and my Orbi is just like, I got this, no problem. Like I can do the damage. So yeah, I definitely agree there. Rue, how do you feel with your Kina in where she's at right now?
Well, she's pretty balanced, but something that I will change is the stats for the champions because most of the time the monsters are better than the champions. Maybe add like 50,000 more HP for the champions. I don't know if you notice, for example, in Battlefield, that if you use segment, you can one shot Akina and Orbia. Maybe that's something that they need to change.
Yeah.
Yes.
I noticed that yesterday. I was going through my gear, and like sometimes a flat stat will actually be better on your summoner than some of the percentage stats, depending on how high they roll.
So that's just because the summoner's
your
base is so
HP
low.
is so low, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and damage and attack and defense as well. They're the same. Especially on Cleef, my base attack is like 700, and I'm level 68.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's way
Ro,
too low.
I have a question for you. So, do you have how high is your max HP? Because it's usually the Cliff player who has the high defense. Kina should have the highest HP. Orbiter should have the highest attack. So something like that. So I'm actually expecting Kina to have at least 80,000 HP or more.
So one second, I'm checking. Let
Yeah, sure.
me.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm looking at Cleef's base here.
Yeah, because of their roles, I think they should be focused more on their main stats. So just like what Yuru said. So yeah, so the one hit, well, maybe two hit combo of Sekhmet can really combo Kina 100 to 0 in just a few seconds.
Yeah,
Because
for example,
that,
right now I have 61,000 HP, 3,200 defense.
Yeah, that's pretty tanky.
Yeah, his Kina has way more defense than your Cleef does. So maybe Kina's defense base is what's high?
No, I just have no defense stats.
Oh. Jedi, you're speaking truth. I have no defense as a Cleef. My bad. Yeah, I never really even noticed that. I never looked at how kind of low the base stats are here, so I was just kind of looking at Cheda's phone. Like if I look at something like his HP, so I'm just gonna do easy numbers because I'm bad at math. So he has like 50,000 HP plus, like as the addition, which means he only has about like 11,000 flat as a 68 clean.
Yeah, that's my base. Yeah.
So like 11,000 flat HP, like I don't know. It seems like a lot. Let me go look at like Bastet.
She's got 18 something.
Yeah, like 18,000 flat HP. That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Like I guess she's level 70 and you're not level 70
the summoners
yet.
have all the passives and all that other stuff from your skills, right?
Yeah, that's true. Is there Rue, you obviously are very familiar with the skill tree on Kina. Does she have any like survivability ones and stuff that like you find help, or it's just not enough?
Well, her light weapon has continuous recovery, but I don't like that. I prefer insta heal instead of waiting for heals.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes if you pop the instant recovery and you're low, you're just gonna get killed anyway. In the
Yeah,
continuous recovery didn't do anything because you died anyway.
Exactly.
I actually
Uh,
think that Kina should have something similar to Orbia, the ignore lethal damage once.
Yeah.
It's just I mean the DPS has one. Why should the support not have something like that as well?
I
But
100% agree.
if they're not I'm not sure. It's just something Kina I think doesn't have, like the one shot potential of other summoners and monsters. I think Kina doesn't have an passive that can counter those types of
So like
attacks.
one shot, yeah, because Cleave has the endure. So even though I know there's lots of things to counter endure now, he still does have that. So he can't like get one shot. And yeah, like you said, Orbia has the ignore lethal damage, so she like pops a shield. Kina doesn't have anything like that, right, Rue?
No, Kina it's more like a Bastet. She's a buffer.
Mm-hmm.
She does kind of have one. The one like when one of your monsters dies, everyone goes invincible for a little bit. But like someone has to die for you to go invincible, right?
Yeah, and the
Oh,
issue is if your summoner dies in most content, you're just dead.
Well, a monster has to die to make people go invincible.
Invincible, yeah.
That's a passive when a monster is
Yeah.
below 30% HP.
Oh, it's below
Oh, it's below 30?
30%?
Okay. My guy normally just dies.
Yeah.
Because you suck. Yeah, I've been playing Kina as an alt, and you know what's funny? She's probably my favorite like cosmetic character. Like I love the hammer and shit. Like I don't know, she's like fun in that
Her
sense.
goofy style.
And like I don't really like tanks, so I like her a lot better than Cleave. But I find I do like even on world boss and stuff like that because I do all the world boss stuff with my alts and stuff like that. I guess my cleave is a little bit stronger than my Kina, but not really much. And I find that my cleave is like so far ahead of my Kina as far as like damage and stuff like that. So I'm not pretending like I know anything about Kina, but I do think that she's probably the one that needs a little bit of love right now. Just because I think Cleave has such a place now in Twisted Marsh. I think that that's really his like domain because I think if you try to run that with 3 Orbias, I think you're gonna die. Like I mean, I'm sure it's possible for sure because you can damage it and stuff, but I think it's a lot easier with a cleave. So I hope for Rue's sake and Kina's sake, Kina's the next to get a little bit of love. But super quick before we change topics, is there any monsters that you guys feel are like way overpowered or maybe way underwhelming?
Actually, one of my hope for this game is something similar to the Sky Arena, where we are able to use the 3-star monster in Arena. So something like a Bernard, a Megan, yeah. So something like
Are you
that.
talking
So
like a special rules arena?
no, not particularly. Not particularly, but for example, one of the 3-star monsters that I would love to use in Arena is Copper, because his one shot potential, if your defense is more than 50% than the target, he would have a 75 def penetrating damage, I think. So it's a really nice idea. However, as a 3-star, your base stats are too low. Although it's easier to awaken 15 right now, but I think it's still not enough for the 3-star to be somewhat competitive in the brawl arena right now. So I don't think increasing the stats on the 3-star would really help, but I think there should be a way to make this 3-star viable in arena as well.
So, Clyde, I'm going to ask you: did you play Sky Arena before they had the Second Awakenings for the 3 stars?
No, so yeah, I have no
Okay,
idea.
so for like 3 years or whatever, 3 or 4 years before Sky Arena got the Second Awakening, 3 stars kind of like got phased out, right? I mean, they were used for certain things because they had like a 4-star arena or different starred based arenas and like guild battles where you needed tons of lineups, but you wouldn't generally take a 3-star.
There were certain ones like Bernard. because of the attack bar buff that he did. And he had a super high base attack speed as well.
Oh, yeah, true.
But for the most part, yeah, no one used any 3-star monsters because they were too weak.
And then they introduced Second Awakening, like, years into the game.
Yeah.
And it started making those monsters, like, very, very viable. So, like, I remember I had a Dragons team, and it was, like, all the Second Awakened dogs.
Oh, yeah.
It was, like, double crow, double... yeah. So, I do agree with you, Clyde, for sure. I think you're right. I think the 3 stars don't really have 100% of a place right now. But I also think they need to slowly inch to that. So I'll let Rue come in here quick before I finish what I'm going to say.
Yeah, the problem with 3 and 4 stars is that they have a low power level. Maybe that they can implement this, maybe add 5 more awakening levels, but the only for power level increase, not for the stats. Because, for example, on Spires, we are not able, well, we can't use 3 or 4 stars because we get the penalty. And it's very hard to do the rooms or the floors there. So
Yeah, because once you have
we need 3, 5 stars in order to complete Spires.
Mm-hmm. So you can't really like pick your team properly there. And the thing with that as well is you can change it inside, but it's a lot harder when there's the time limit on trial, right? So even though you can like go in with your 5-star team, you also want the 3 stars you're using to have your best runes, so you have a best chance to clear it. So you'd have to like sit there, change out all your monsters, switch over all the runes, and now you're like 30 seconds to a minute in, and now you only have 3 minutes left to beat it. But I will be honest, quick before I go back to what we're talking about with Clyde, I don't like this power level shit. I think it's very stupid that if I'm not strong enough, you penalize me. Or if I'm stronger, you give me an extra chance. Like, I like that it should just be mechanics and how you can build a team. It should be just as hard for everyone.
Yeah.
And if I can beat it at 100,000 power and you can't beat it till 300,000 power, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. Why am I being penalized just because I'm not strong enough? So, Rue, yeah, I agree with you with what you were saying, but my solution would be just get rid of that shit. Get rid of the power requirements. But super quick, just with what Clyde was saying before, yeah, I do find that... God, I'm losing my train of thought every time with Clyde today. See, this is why I have to say things when I say it.
3
I'm
stars.
dumb. Yeah, the 3 stars. Okay. So yeah, what we're... Thank you, Cheddar. So what we're saying with the 3-star monsters. So in Sky Arena, like I was saying with the Second Awakening, Rue brought up the starring of them. So maybe adding some additional power increase. But what I think they really need to do is just kind of wait. Kind of have people focus on their 5 stars right now. I know that doesn't sound great. And then later in the game, when people are kind of getting a little bit more bored, when we're a year or 2 in, they're not putting out content as much, they can start releasing things like they did in Sky Arena, where only 3-star arena or only 4-star arena, or they can introduce Second Awakenings or something like that. So as much as I agree with what Clyde was saying, I do kind of like the slow roll a little bit. Because if everyone could just build out these amazing 3 stars right away, that would kind of take away from the fun of collecting the 5 stars, I think.
Another fun arena style that they did in Sky Arena was I think it was 20-star arena.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be a little bit different in this because you're not picking as many monsters. But like that was a really fun one because you can use your nat 5s, but then like you get forced to use also monsters that are lower as well.
Yeah, like the nat 3s. So if you want to take 2 nat 5s, now you can't also take 3 nat 4s because the math wouldn't work. You'd have to take like...
Yeah, you have to take a bunch of nat 3s.
That one was really fun, actually, that style of arena. But yeah, I think we're probably... Do you guys have anything else on the balancing? You guys have any monsters or anything else you want to say?
Yeah, like, what about Juno Teor? I pretty much see they're at the very top of Brawl Arena for almost every comp. The comps that I find probably only have one of them, only have Juno or Teor. The other one probably got banned. Because when you look through, it's all just Junos and Teors for sure.
And the top 5, so 2 weeks ago, it was all Junos?
Yeah.
And no Teors?
Yeah.
And now the top 5 this week is all Teors, no Junos.
The one guy got a Juno through.
Oh.
The second place guy had a Juno through, but like, it depends who they pick, right? If they like last pick someone like Akasha, the dark Undyne, like a lot of people have to bin that because she's so annoying. So then a monster like Juno will get through in that comp, right? I don't know what you guys think about those monsters. Maybe they're a little bit overtuned.
They need to change the damage for the bruisers because, for example, I have Tower. He does damage according to his defense, and he has a plus for his attack too. So they need to remove the attack on the bonus damage.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah, 'cause
on his defense.
It'll say like it'll do plus 100. I'm making up the numbers, guys. It'll do a plus 170 attack plus 370% of defense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like 450 and 650. Scales up to like 1100.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, I agree. I think that they need to maybe remove the attack and maybe just add a little bit over to the defense just to like keep his damage up a little bit. But they definitely need to do something about monsters like that have the double scaling.
Yeah, that's what I think also. But the rise of the tower, as far as I remember, it started when people are using the usual Vanessa Juno composition in arena. So people, the patch that was introduced during that time was the increase of elemental advantage. So you'd have more damage and lesser damage dealt to you. So I think that was the time that the rock paper scissor of the element has been introduced in the arena and in the top level brawl.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like the bruiser meta definitely gave birth to Teor because Teor put out massive amounts of damage while still having massive amounts of sustain.
And everyone was choosing Vanessa, and Teor and Vanessa naturally at the start of the fight will just start fighting each other, and Teor will win that most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, Vanessa was a huge, like, in the first month of the game, she was dominating the arena. Vanessa and Juno Bastet.
One that I think right now is Wind is kind of suffering, but maybe Ethna can change this. Ethna seems to be super strong, and maybe she can break through and be the counter to Teor or whoever. But yeah, I find right now Wind is kind of lacking. They need one of their monsters needs to be good.
Yeah, I think probably one of the best wind monsters that are out is like Alakmir, the wind.
Yeah,
The wind Theo, sorry. But a lot of people don't necessarily have the resources to build them because their Theos maxed out. Me. So
Actually, Akamir is one of my win conditions in my brawl.
Yeah,
The first skill is really useful for the max damage AoE damage with level 2 electric shock. It would stack indefinitely, and once all of the enemy's team has level 6 stack of electric shock, I think it's pretty much a win for you already.
Oh, you need my Legmaron. You want him?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so by the way, for the wind, to be honest, I think all Hell Ladies are pretty garbage tier for me.
Yeah.
See, the problem with Esna that we don't know about, or maybe you don't know about, Chetta, her skill cooldowns are like ridiculous. It's like 5 mana for both the skills.
Yeah.
That's what makes her trash.
But you can just combo off real quick and kill one guy, and then she goes to the back for a bit.
Yeah, I think
use all
because
10 mana, kill one guy.
it's something Lupinus has done before already. So, well, I'm not sure on this, but yeah. But for the wind monsters, I
forgot about
think
Lupinus.
the rise of Feng Yan and the wind monkey would be prevalent soon.
Not
The
Feng Yang.
wind monkey has the highest, I think, highest DPS if it is in a perfect scenario because of the S1 proc on the, I think it has 996% multiplier on a 20% rate on the first skill. So, and he has a attack attack speed buff on his first skill, and a passive with a counter if an enemy attacks your other monster or your summoner, and has a damage reduction buff. So I think Wind Monkey would be a pretty good addition. And Feng Yan, yeah. So the despair, I had talked about this a while ago. I think Feng Yan would be very good in the upcoming days.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think the monkeys are super slept on. So I think Monkey's actually probably way better than he reads. I like half built him way back at the beginning of the game in early arena. And he was pretty good. And like I said, with the despair runes now, I think he's gonna be extra greasy. So in Sky Arena, my favorite thing, like my only comp all the way through was stun comps. So I had Okeanos, and I just ran like all stunners and like Okeanos. I had the monkey in that one too. I had Charlotte. So I really like the like control meta. The like stun them, keep them CC'd, keep them down, keep stripping them if you need to. So I think the monkeys are actually really slept on because the fire monkey's really, really, really good too. He breaks defense a whole bunch with all of his skills. He has the strip. He also has the vampire for himself with some of his skills. And yeah, like you were just saying, the wind monkey's really good as well. So I actually think that family is like super strong and slept on because you don't really hear about them very much. And all three are pretty viable.
The wind one you see a bunch, but
And one more thing I want to say too, this isn't quite as relevant, but Cheddar wanted Fang Yang forever in Sky Arena. Forever. And we made alt accounts to like help our alliance, and like we were just bored. And we played them, I think, probably for about a year, the alt accounts, like we played both accounts. And yeah, Cheddar got Fang Yang like as one of his first pulls on his alt account.
it was actually the first mystical scroll I opened. I got Feng Yang, and then my first light and dark scroll that I opened on it, I got Dark Camilla. I can't remember her name.
Valkyrie?
The Dark Valkyrie, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, anyway, it was hilarious. We just laughed because Cheddar spent like 7 years playing one account, and then his alt account was like already almost better because the
It caught up
monsters.
so quick. I got Diana right away too.
He was waiting for Feng Yang forever. Alt account, first scroll, Feng Yang. I died. It was so funny. He was like Island Grown with Molong. Do you guys have anything else on buffs and nerfs? And then we're going to go into the last kind of topic.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we're just going to move kind of into open discussion and state of game. So the one thing I want to talk about first, I'm going to be a little bit of a negative Nelly. I play on mobile, and the crashes are ridiculous. I crash almost every single world boss. I have turned all my graphics down completely to low. I don't show any information anymore. Thank you to Rue for pointing that out from the other players. I have all that cut off. I don't have it so it only shows 5 players. It's not supposed to show any of my enemy stuff. It still just crashes every world boss. I crash at least 1 battlefield a day, which I can only do 3 a day for 7 minutes a day. And I crash. I crash in one that we've been having a lot of trouble with is Naraka. So this happened to us about 3 or 4 times. You go to load into Naraka, the person who is leadership is crashing, and then everyone gets locked out of their game for 5 to 7 minutes, waiting for Naraka to finish, even though no one is in Naraka. And if you try to log into your game, it just brings up the load bar to load you into Naraka.
Another thing on Naraka as well is, I'm pretty sure it's only a mobile problem, is the invisible fire.
So I know what causes that, yes. The invisible fire, if you have your graphics too low before you enter Naraka, if you don't turn your graphics up before you enter, no matter what you do, you won't see the fire on the ground. You're just going to see the circles drop, you're not going to see the fire. So therefore you have to run your phone at higher graphics, which causes it to overheat and crash. So I know I'm being a little bit of a complainer, but if I wasn't like a super fan of CompTOS and I didn't know how Sky Arena was in the beginning and where it ended up, I feel like if I was just a regular player, I'd be pretty frustrated because I can't really do a lot of the content without crashing, which gets really frustrating. Do either of you guys play on mobile or do you play on computer? Do you guys see this problem?
Well, I play on on a PC because on my phone I can play because the game is not available because I'm from Costa Rica.
Oh, it's not available in your region yet.
Yeah.
Soon, maybe.
Yeah, I actually did hear global launch might be coming soon. There's like rumors flying around.
There's a Taiwan game show, and they're showing a game preview. So maybe that'll be when they're going to announce when the global release will be. I think it's February 2nd. Can't remember if it was February 2nd or February 6th.
Actually, with global release, are you guys gonna end up switching servers? Or are you guys planning to stay on this server? Like, cause Sky Arena, I think they offered something for people to switch servers initially, right?
Yeah, they offered you pretty much, it was like $100 pack to go over to their new servers when they opened up new servers in Sky Arena. And I know a lot of players took it. Actually, Island Grown, one of the most famous players, he was on global server, and then when it opened up, since he lived in Hawaii, the Asian times actually worked better for him, so he switched to Asia's server. And he said he was just greedy as well and wanted the extra $100 pack for free.
So I'm going to stay here because what I think that is going to happen is that we are going to have, for example, 3 different servers: Korea, North America, and global. And all of them are going to have different versions. We are not going to catch up, for example, Korea or global. They are not going to catch up us.
For a long time, I would say I didn't agree, but the more and more I keep seeing how they keep releasing stuff, I unfortunately kind of agree. It feels like they don't want us to catch up to their server.
Because they keep releasing things. They need to slow down the Korea release schedule and up
Increase
ours a little bit more to catch up. Otherwise, we'll never catch up.
Yeah, well, this is very common in a lot of MMOs. I used to play a game called Ion. For example, in Korea, they have like version 7.0. In North America, 5.0. Europe, 3.0. So, yeah, it's very common in MMOs.
Yeah, I think Lost Ark was kind of like that as well, right? Either you guys
Lost
played
Ark
that.
has just KR and the global, so it has 2 different patches.
Yes.
But I haven't heard of something like KR has their own patch, NA has their own patch, EU has their own patch. So that's new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. I at first when we first launched, we were what, 2 months behind Korea or 3 months? How long had they had it? 3 months?
2, I think. Yeah.
2. And me and Chet, I kept thinking like, oh, we're catching up. But I think more what was giving us that like false sense of like catching up was we were getting certain updates that they were getting like then, like but it was more like balanced stuff and things like that. But like the fact that we haven't gotten the vampires yet, I'm like,
The Vampire Hunters.
yeah, because wasn't that like 2 months ago or something like that?
They've had them for a long time.
Yeah, like 3 months. So things like that. So I wonder if that like feeling of like catching up was always kind of false. If they were just keeping the balances on the servers kind of the same. But yeah, I don't know. Clyde, do you play on mobile or PC? PC as well?
I play on PC because it's not available in my Play Store. Yeah. So for the server, I'm not sure if I would play an EU server once it has been released, because one thing is, if you're I have to start again, and I really had a good pull in my alt account, so I don't think I'll be switching anytime soon. But it's something to consider, whatever implementation they have done in those server, because about this, so I have ranted about this topic in our Discord, so I have made some checking myself. So have you heard of the game Nino Kuni? So basically,
I think I've
it's
seen ads.
I'm sorry.
I think I've seen advertisements for it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, so it's I think it Come to Us will pattern their release based on that. So Nino Kuni was first released in KR, Taiwan, Japan, I think for a month or 2, just to get some player base. And when they released the global server, the NA, the EU, the WOLC server, they added the NFT stuff because Summoners War Chronicles has really planned for this NFT. So I check how the NFT was implemented in this Ninokuni because I think it's a Korean. I think it's Netmarble. It's a similar gaming company.
Netmarble. Oh,
Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah, so I think they would probably have the same release same release concept. So what they did is the enhancement shard that the summoner used to increase the level of their gear, that would be replaced by something NFT. So I'm hoping that won't happen. So the initial plan in the Ninokuni was the original server, the KR, the Taiwan, the Japan server doesn't implement the NFT, and I'm hoping that this won't happen in the NA server. That's why I'm trying to stick into the NA server, because once they release the EU server, the C server, if they implement the NFT stuff in NA, and they would remove the enhancement shard, I think it would be a problem from all of us because it will
So sorry to cut
become
you off.
harder
So
to farm. Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. So what you're worried about with the EU server is you're worried that they're going to follow a similar pattern to the other game and go with like this weird like NFT thing, and you don't think that that would happen on America, that they would just keep that on their third server.
Yeah, hopefully. That's why I'm trying to
One thing
stick
I
with-
will say, I haven't heard anything about like that, but Netmarble in comparison to COMP2US, so I've played 2 Netmarble games technically. I played one Kabam, and then I played one like actual Netmarble, and they are a terrible, terrible gaming company. They
Yes.
are. I don't care. They can blast me all they want. They can sue me. I don't care. They are the worst gaming company I've ever played a game of. They are greedy. Their servers were so beyond unstable. I know I was just complaining about COM2S servers, but yeah, their servers were something else. And the monetization, not that Sky Arena's Chronicles monetization is great. I'm not going to pretend like it's not pay to win. But the monetization of the 2 Netmarbles games I played were just outrageous. Like, they wanted...
It was literally like pay or you couldn't even play.
Yeah, you couldn't play at
It was
all.
so bad.
And people were spending $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on the game to quit in 2 months. There was one guy on our server who we were about a month in. I'm a confess because a lot of my followers on this channel already know. I probably spent about $3,000 in Marvel Future Revolution, and there was people that were 2 or 3 million power more than me, and I was only 1 million power. And I was about $3,000 in like 4 months. So it was absolutely outrageous. So I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I really don't think that COM2S would take that route. Now, of course, I don't know. Of course, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't see them going down that route personally.
Yeah. It's
I
just
think
that
that-
the initial plan for the COM2S Chronicle has the NFT as...
Did it really?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I was just checking the similar pattern from other games, but hopefully it won't... They won't
Yeah, I don't know.
replicate the
Maybe
same-
I'm just a futter, but don't buy an NFT. That's the stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just download it off Google if you want the picture, okay?
Yeah, you must right click and then save it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We watch too much CoffeeZilla, maybe, but
I think
Rue,
that
sorry,
they
you were gonna say-
turned Los Centuria into an NFT game.
Oh, they did? We quit.
oh,
pretty
I
early.
only played
Lost
that
the
for like 2
Furia.
days. Did they really? Oh, maybe I'm
I
worried.
I quit when they announced that they're going to have NFT things there. But I don't know.
Ew. Ew, I'm out of the loop on this. You know why? Because I don't want to hear about NFTs. Like, I'll be honest, straight up, if that's actually the route they go, I'll peace when that happens. Like, I ain't about, like...
You just have to see how they implement it, I guess.
Yeah, so that's actually a really interesting thing. I never really looked into that. Maybe me and Cheddar will look into it a bit more and do a video on it and look at what happened with Lost Centuria and stuff.
Other NFT style games like CryptoZoo.
No, like just with Cryptos. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, don't buy an NFT, guys. Okay. So if you guys are on computers, obviously you don't have the crashing problems then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems to be a mobile issue.
What about the future of the game? So we just got Twisted Marsh, and normally every month they have a roadmap. We checked their website just before we started this, and they hadn't put up a roadmap for February yet. Do you guys have any speculation as to what will be in the next roadmap part here?
I'm thinking it would be the Guild Raid and the Galagos Ruin for this month.
Those will be the two major updates.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already know the next two banners, Vampire Hunters and the Fire Panda Warrior.
Vampire Hunters are coming in the next month, you think?
In this month.
See, what I'm curious about is they announced that
yeah.
collab, right? So are we going to also get that collab at the same time? Because they're getting that whole new set of monsters, right? I think it's Fire 5-star, a 4-star Light monster, and then a 5-star Wind monster.
And Water.
Yeah, Wind and Water.
Yeah, there's no Dark.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I would really hope for the vampire guys, because I have like 2 people that want me to... Rue, you're one of them, actually, I think, that want me to do their summons when the vampire comes out. So, I want the vampire to come out.
Yeah, but... Yeah, they didn't release the roadmap.
Maybe tonight. You never know.
Hopefully tonight.
Based on the timeline that they usually release the roadmap, they usually release the roadmap 1 week after the roadmap has ended. So last month, the roadmap has ended at December 24 or 26, and the next week, they have released the roadmap for the January. So I'm expecting tomorrow for the roadmap to be released.
Drop.
So,
I would say that's probably a good guess. Yeah, I think you're probably right there. All right, well, we have went super long, and not to mention we went half an hour before this that Cheddar didn't record because he absolutely sucks. Hashtag blame Cheddar in the comments, okay? I really, really appreciate you guys. Do you guys have any... Oh, actually, sorry. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about with Rue. I want to talk to you about your strategy that I wish I would have listened to about building lower level gear and maxing it out, and how you found that, and some of your points of view about that.
And now with the new changes as well, when they released the Twisted Marsh gear, they added more tiers onto all the previous gear.
They made it stronger.
Is it still a good strategy to go with?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the thing is that I have experience with MMOs, so I have an idea about what to look for on these years. And I think I did the right thing, like upgrading, enhancing the foggy equipment. Now they added the 6-star Awakening 2 level for the same gear, and it's very cheaper and easy to farm.
Easy to level up and stuff,
Yeah.
So are you going to be trying to get a trinket and weapons, though, from the Twisted Marsh, because the PvP stuff?
The trinket for Twisted March and weapons for Seal.
From
Steel, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad, yeah. So you're going to keep your 4 set of foggy. Have you already brought it to the max that you can? Like, have you already farmed that out and brought it up 2 more stars?
I already have 6-star gear foggy.
So you get the set and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like you were definitely right on that path. I've been a little bit of a... Like, I knew you were right from the beginning, but I'm impatient. And I was like, it's fine. I'm just going to build all Naraka gear. And then, like, a month later, they released Seal, and then I'm like, well, now I want these weapons, and my Naraka gear still wasn't finished, and then the Twisted Marsh came out, and now I want that, and They definitely don't really give you enough resources to be able to do that. So I think that if I were to be telling someone who's just starting the game, I would definitely tell them to go with your route, to either stick with like just Foggy, or maybe if you're Orbi, I know it's going to be harder, but maybe just Naraka, because it's like a summoner attack.
Actually, on my alt account, I followed the advice of Ru in regards to the foggy accessories. And currently, I'm playing on my 11th day on my alt, and my maximum power at the moment is 342. So
Wow, yeah.
yeah, I can do Naraka in 1 to 2 days. So I think with the proper planning and guidance, new players can catch up to the newest content in about 3 weeks or so. Because I was able to get 342k in about 11 days. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's with what level's your Foggy gear at? Like, have you been blacksmithing it up? Like, do you have your blacksmithing up?
yes, because I know blacksmithing would be really crucial. I have it at level 7.
See,
And
Cheddar? 11-day-old account, level 7.
I got
You
mine
have a
yesterday.
3-month-old account. Okay, sorry.
yeah, so my sub weapon is an upgraded foggy. Most of my equipments are upgraded foggy as well. So yeah, it really helps. So yeah, Rue's advice is still the optimal way to play the game as of now.
It's definitely a free-to-play way, too, right? Because then you don't have to worry about trying to get some of those other resources. Like, you don't waste them,
Yeah,
right?
you just have to really force into blacksmithing early.
Yeah. All right, though, guys, I again want to thank you so much for your time. You gave us like almost an hour and 40 minutes of your time. I cannot thank you enough. Again, we all hate Cheddar in the comments. Just kidding, guys. My fault, too. I should have noticed. But yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed today. I hope you were able to learn. Be sure to give big shout outs in the comments to Rue and Clyde. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next one.